one of the most lucrative crimes in the world, and it's preying on residents right here in the desert Southwest. Human sex trafficking. Tonight, we're hearing from law enforcement officials that spend each day trying to rescue the victims of this evil crime, and we will hear from the captivating stories of two women who survived the dark world of the sex trade in this 13 on Your Side exclusive Secret Slaves.
This is the wickedest evil I've ever seen. Take somebody's child and brand them and make them go out and trade their body for somebody else to live a life.
It's a modern form of human slavery plaguing cities in the desert Southwest and across the nation. Human sex trafficking. According to the Arizona Human Trafficking Council, less than 2% of victims are ever identified, and the average age of entry into the dark world of the sex trade is just 14.
And when I was 15 was the first time I remember trading my body for money to survive.
Arizona resident CAROLYN Jones survived after being a victim of human trafficking for more than 20 years, and what she describes as a very violent lifestyle.
I ended up getting shot by a guy that picked me up. I ended up being stabbed by a guy that picked me up.
Today, she works with organizations to spread awareness of the evils of sex trafficking, to try and save other young girls from the pain she still endures.
You stay in the process of healing. You stay in the process of growing. You stay in the process of trying to pull out of a lifestyle that was normal for so long.
Human trafficking is the world's second most lucrative crime, surpassed only by drug trafficking. The U.S. State Department estimates that 600,000 to 800,000 people are trafficked across international borders each year.
In the U.S. alone, we estimate that 325,000 American children and adults are at risk for exploitation.
Louis Garcia is the special agent in charge for U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement out of Phoenix and deals with many human trafficking cases. Sex traffickers get their victims in many different ways, using force, fraud, and coercion. ICE warns that it can happen at schools, at a club, in your neighborhood, and perhaps most of all, on the internet.
Pimps use the internet extensively to monitor traffic and identify potential victims.
Just a simple search on the World Wide Web, and you'd easily find numerous escort posts selling sex.
For the Yuma area, you'll find multiple pages of ads offering sex, massages, modeling, or other acts associated with trafficking.
Even boyfriends or close relationships can lead to sex trafficking. That's what happened to Arizona resident Lorna Jackson, who says she got into the sex trade at the age of 15.
One of my first boyfriends kind of coerced me into prostituting.
The National Center for Biotechnology Information says victims of human trafficking are more likely to develop an addiction to drugs and suffer mental illness.
Drinking alcohol, smoking pot to numb the shame and the embarrassment and the feelings that I had inside.
And sometimes this lifestyle is fatal. CAROLYN Jones says she sought help after seeing many of her friends that were also being trafficked die.
That's the only reason why I'm sitting here now. It took them to die for me to live.
ICE says these victims could potentially be anyone of any race or background.
Usually the victims are our sons and daughters, our nieces and nephews, and our grandchildren.
If you're a victim of human trafficking in Yuma, you can turn to the Healing Journey for help. This organization is leading the fight to create a task force designed specifically for human trafficking cases.
I would like this to start in a couple of months, getting everybody together for a meeting, and as a community as a whole, come together to start putting awareness and combat the issue while we can, before it does get out of hand.
They're not alone. They just feel lonely and they feel like they don't have no way out. I felt that same way.
It's evil. I mean, I've seen some victims that suffer tremendously. Just the statistics for women alone involved in sex trafficking are alarming.
Do you feel we can win the war against human trafficking?
Yes, I do. We have to do everything we can, not only the federal government, the state and locals and the foreign partners, but you know, our citizens. I would hope that if they see something, to say something.
We have a ways to go, but today we're open and we're willing to attack this issue, and that I'm grateful for.
If you are a victim of human trafficking, there is a toll-free hotline you can call. That number is 888-373-7888. If you see suspicious activity that you feel may be related to sex trafficking, please inform law enforcement immediately. Your help may save someone's life.